Hi, welcome back to our second example for 4.3 reciprocal trig ratios. In this example, we're going to learn how to find the angle given a reciprocal trig ratio. Okay, and in this question, it says all our angles are in the first quadrant and then round to the nearest degree. Okay, I've written some steps out here. These steps actually help you to find the angle, not just for when you're in the first quadrant, but for any quadrant. So in this example, because all our angles are going to be less than 90, we can actually skip a couple of these steps. So really, in this example, all we need to do is number one, we're going to have to take the reciprocal of both sides. So when we attempt to start solving for angle A in this question, we're going to take the reciprocal of both sides. And then we can actually jump right to 4 and we can just determine the angle in standard position. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's just do this first one. So I'm going to write out my reciprocal trig ratio. Okay, and I need to recall that cosecant is actually equal to 1 over sine. Okay, so that's the relationship between those two. They're the reciprocal of each other. So now in order to solve, I need to take the reciprocal of both sides. So take the reciprocal of both sides. Okay, so what's the reciprocal of cosecant? Well, it's going to just be sine. Okay, I don't write 1 over sine A because I'm not trying to write the equivalent of cosecant. I'm taking the reciprocal of cosecant. So 1 over cosecant is actually just sine. The reciprocal of 8, well, that's going to be 1 over 8. Okay, and then our next step, well, just solve for the angle. Angle A is going to be the sine inverse of 1 over 8. Okay, and I actually just did this on the calculator here on Desmos. Make sure you are in degrees. Okay, and then you're going to want to do sine inverse. So sine inverse of 1 over 8, you get 7.18. Okay, that's angle A. So yes, this is in the first quadrant. So I know that everything kind of worked out for that. Okay, let's do part B. And I have a little bit of room here. Let's write up the trig ratio. Secant B equals 5 over 2. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So now we're going to take the reciprocal of both sides. Okay, the reciprocal of secant is going to be cos. And the reciprocal of 5 over 2 becomes 2 over 5. Now to find angle B, I'm going to take the cos inverse of 2 over 5. Cos inverse 2 divided by 5. And I get 66.4 degrees, so it actually would just be 66 degrees. So that's angle B. So they don't want the nearest whole degree, or it says, yeah, nearest degree. So this one actually could have been rounded just to 7. So I'm going to erase that 0.18 there. 7 degrees. Okay, and 66 still is in the first quadrant, so we know that worked out okay. All right, and the last one, cotan. So cotan C equals 5 over 16. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take the reciprocal of both sides. So the reciprocal of cotan is tan. And the reciprocal of 5 over 16 is 16 over 5. And now we can solve for angle C. by doing the tan inverse. So you'll probably have to hit second tan on your calculator, and then you can do 16 divided by 5. 72.6, so we can round up. We'll say 73 degrees. Okay, so that is how we do those questions. So the one thing I do want to point out, when we're going from this first line to the second one, it's real easy because I just remember that these are the reciprocal of each other, okay? But I actually didn't really show everything step by step algebraically. So I'm just going to insert another little line here just to make sure we get this. So when we take the reciprocal of both sides, we're actually doing 1 over cotan of C. Okay? So that's the reciprocal of that. So you might be wondering, how is this equal to this, right? Maybe you might be thinking that. Well, 1 over cotan is equal to tan of C. Okay, and I know that because cotan is actually equal to, we write this like this, cotan is actually 1 over tan. So we have on this side we have 1 divided by and then a fraction. So remember, whenever you're divided by a fraction, you can flip and multiply. So the left side ends up being just tan C. And yes, tan C is equal to tan C. So I don't know if that helps you think about that at all, but that's one way to go from this first line to the next. So sorry, from here to here. What I do is I just know that these are the reciprocals of each other. So I just jump from here right to here. And it's pretty easy to do it that way too. Okay, that is it for this video and for this example. We have just one more left, so I'll see you in the